Fade to silence. It's a weird game I both hate and like. It has some great aspects and ideas to it. Its execution is just piss poor. You play as Ash, or David Nash, gathering supplies and other survivors for your home and fake or not fake daughter Alice. If that confused you, then good, you're caught up with everyone who's played this before. The game is mostly a survival RPG collectathon, with some base management thrown in. Gather resources and toys for Alice, fight monsters, cleanse outposts and nests, and be annoyed at your survivors not doing their jobs. You know, the normal stuff. You have to hunt and gather firewood to keep yourself and your followers from, freezing or starving in some sort of apocalyptic eternal winter caused by something called the Eclipse / Red Web / Red Veil / Blight / Corruption. All the while a magnificent voice mildly taunts you. Pale flesh. Seriously, I strive to have that voice. It's the best thing about the game. I would have added Alice too, but I played this when it was in early access, and her old voice actor was much better than this new one. The game is good in that it's fairly enjoyable to collect stuff, upgrade equipment, and listen to the inner voice. Pale flesh. It's a very beautiful game with how it handles its terrain, art, and weather engine. Some of the survivors also have some pretty interesting stories to listen to. And technically, yeah, you can cut the wolves. There's about 8 followers you can get in total. A Buddhist, a mad scientist, a witch, a drug dealer, gender-bent Nat, a former BFG employee, my favorite one, and what I can only describe as a savage slut, Issa. They're essentially toddlers with trauma, just like in the real world. What went wrong? Seriously though, I cannot stress enough how good this game can look. There's constant snow that even has some level of physics to it. Frozen lakes, crazy ice spikes, a great big hentai meatball in the sky. The map's pretty damn big too, so there's a lot of sights to behold. It's like 4 big sections. Well, I say 4 because 2 of them are much smaller, and I consider both of them a half. And that's about all the good things I can say. This is a buggy, poorly performing game with terrible story. You know that beauty I mentioned? Well, have fun looking at it with screen tearing because VSync is disabled by default, and there's no in-game option to turn it on. I mean, it's built on Unreal, so of course it's an option, you just need to dig through the game files. There's so many instances though where Ash just stops moving, or the slide breaks or moves in a direction it shouldn't. I've actually named this the Walk of Shame. It happens after Ash interacts with something, or the wolves slightly nudge some obstacle, and because the movement is so jank, it can be really annoying when you're, at the brink of death. Where was I going with this? Oh right. Things spaz out, monsters get auto-locked at annoying times, or Ash has horrible depth perception and misses them. Or your followers don't do their jobs and you essentially have to babysit them, or items get crafted but they never get removed when used. The list goes on. And even a big screw you to the supporters in the form of floating rock parkour at the end of the game. There's a reason this game got mixed reviews. Also, these things are kinda hard for me to show with the footage I bothered to collect, but they are a thing, I assure you. The combat is horrible, and it consists of a heavy attack that destroys your stamina, and the useless attack that does less damage, destroys your stamina a little less, and makes you go through a long annoying animation if it's the killing blow. The stamina in and of itself is just bad, as it drains quickly and has very little payoff. And the story is the most annoying to me. You know when you're watching a show that you're invested in, Oh boy, I can't wait to see the finale and have all my questions answered in a well thought out way. All the while you're excited, coming up with theories and ideas for the story, and then the ending comes out and it's worse than all the stuff you thought about. This is that. It's obviously not well thought out, as even the devs have told me that they wanted it to be open-ended. Translation: IDK. Even the inner voice, the best character of the game, isn't well developed. He's supposed to be the big bad, the evil guy controlling the blight and the trash moon, but to me he just feels like a chill pessimistic dude. He feels like someone who has little control over a situation and is just trying to make the most out of it. Like if you were a force of nature, yet you had very little control over that very force that you are, and you're just stuck commentating, having your consciousness tied to some other individual. It could have been a good duo if they made the inner voice warm up to Ash. Maybe even cheer him on, as he's an interesting opponent against his power. Kinda like Venom and Eddie. BFG went for the villain route, and even that isn't done quite well, as his taunts are just very generic. Villains are so because they attack the protagonist mentally, say something personal, threaten them, or poses an actual danger. The inner voice only has generic taunts and bits of story to tell. Literally, Ash does not say a single thing to him, or even acknowledge him besides a wave. There's that one memory at the end, but it's more like he's talking at than talking to. It's actually kind of like he's praying. I'm more than happy to make a second video with more spoilers and how I think they could have handled the story if people want, but I wanted to keep this video short and sweet. All in all, the game happened. It's missed potential, but I definitely recommend it if it's on sale, as it's a special game to me. It had so much going for it, and I can only hope that BFG visits the game again someday and takes the advice the fans give about it. Seriously guys, I'm cool with the story change. Everyone is cool with the story change. You literally have mixed reviews on this. You can No Man's Sky it. I believe in you. Hey, subscribe if you like, hit the like button, and ring the